What if the succulent plants can talk to us? Imagine being able to walk past your plants and immediately know what they need. No guessing, no second guessing. Just a quiet understanding. Wouldn't that be amazing? What if we have that quiet superpower? To know when they're thirsty, when they had too much to drink, when they needed more sun, or they are satisfied and happy. The truth is, our plants do communicate to us. And today, we're going to learn how to listen. Because once you understand what those leaves are trying to say, you won't just be keeping your succulents alive. You'll be helping them thrive. So, here are the 15 visual hints the succulent leaves are telling us. Let's start with the good ones. Number 1, dry leaves at the base. If you notice dry, crispy leaves at the base of your succulent, don't worry. It's usually a natural part of the plant's growth. As succulents produce new leaves on top, older ones at the bottom die off, like the plant shedding an old layer. While these dried leaves aren't harmful in the short term and can even offer a bit of protection in colder weather, it's best not to leave them sitting for too long. Over time, they can trap moisture, reduce airflow, and create hiding spots for pests like mealybugs or fungus, especially in humid conditions. To clean them up, gently pull or twist off the dried leaves with your fingers or tweezers if they come away easily. Removing is easier if the leaves are fully dry and brittle. Gently removing dry succulent leaves can be surprisingly relaxing. It's like a plant therapy that soothes the mind while keeping your garden tidy. Number 2, leaves turning red, orange, or purple. When succulent leaves start turning red, orange, or even deep purple, it's often not a sign of trouble, but rather a natural and beautiful response to stress. Many succulents develop vibrant colors when exposed to more sunlight, cooler temperatures, or slight drought. This color change is caused by pigments like anthocyanins and carotenoids, which the plant produces as a protective measure. It's especially common in varieties like Eonium, Echeveria, Sedum, and Graptopetalum. In fact, some succulents only show their full range of colors when mildly stressed, making them even more striking and unique. If your succulent is changing color and still looks healthy with firm leaves, no signs of rot, and with steady growth, there is no need to worry. You can continue enjoying its beauty. However, if the plant starts to look scorched, crispy, or overly dry, it may be experiencing too much stress. In that case, gradually adjust the light exposure or offer a bit more water if they are not dormant. You can also provide some protection from extreme heat. The key is finding that sweet spot of light and care where the succulent thrives and shows off its colorful best. Number 3, even powdery white coating. When you see even powdery coating on the leaves of your succulents, there is nothing to worry about. Some succulents have this natural protection called farina, also known as epicuticular wax. It is the coating you often see on many succulents, especially echeverias, graptoverias, and dodleas. While it might look like dust or residue, it's actually a powerful natural defense system. Think of it as the plant's built-in sunscreen and raincoat. Farina reflects harmful sunlight to prevent sunburn, repels excess water to reduce the risk of rot, and forms a barrier that makes it harder for pests and fungi to attack. It also gives succulents their soft, pastel appearance, adding to their beauty. So if your plant looks frosted or silvery, that's not a problem. It's a sign of healthy, well-protected plant. When caring for succulents with farina, gentle handling is key. This waxy coating can be easily rubbed off by touch, and once it's gone, it doesn't grow back on easily. Avoid wiping or cleaning it away unless you're treating pests. If farina is accidentally removed, the exposed leaf may need time to reacclimate to sunlight since it's now vulnerable. Luckily, new growth will naturally develop fresh farina over time. So, next time you see a dusty-looking leaf, don't panic. It's not mildew or pest. It might just be your plant's way of saying, "I've got this." Number 4. Distorted or twisted new growth with white cottony cover. This is the white stuff that you need to worry about. If you see white cottony patches on your succulent leaves or in the nooks and crannies of the plant, chances are you're dealing with mealybugs. These tiny, sap-sucking insects cover themselves in white waxy coating for their protection while they feast. Mealybugs feed on the plant's juices, causing yellowing, stunted growth, and even leaf drop. You'll often find them clustered along leaf joints, stems, or the undersides of leaves. To treat mealybugs, start by soaking a cotton swab in 70% isopropyl alcohol and wiping them off. For heavy infestations, you can spray the entire plant with a mix of neem oil, water, and a few drops of mild soap. Be sure to spray in the early morning or late afternoon to prevent sunburn. Isolate the infested plant right away to prevent the bugs from spreading to your other succulents. Keeping your growing area clean, dry, and free of decaying leaves will also make it harder for pests to take hold. Checking your plants regularly and acting quickly can stop a small problem from turning into a major infestation. But don't mistake mealybugs with trichomes. You see, there are cacti and succulents with white hairy coatings that look like mealybug infestations, but they are not. They are called trichomes. Trichomes are tiny, hair-like structures that grow naturally on the surface of some succulents. They protect the plant, helping it reflect sunlight, retain moisture, and defend against pests. Trichomes often get mistaken for mealybugs, especially by beginners. From a distance, both can look like patches of white fuzz. The confusion happens because mealybugs appear as white cottony blobs, often hiding in similar places. But there are key differences. Trichomes are evenly spread across the plant and feel soft or velvety to the touch, while mealybugs cluster in groups and leave behind a sticky residue. Number 5. Black sooty mold. Black sooty mold on succulent leaves is a fungal growth that looks like a thin layer of black dust or charcoal powder on the leaves and stems. It doesn't directly harm the plant, but it blocks sunlight, from reaching the leaf surface, which can weaken the plant over time. This mold usually shows up after an infestation of sap-sucking insects like mealybugs, aphids, or scale. These pests excrete a sugary substance called honeydew, which creates the perfect environment for sooty mold to grow. You'll often see the mold on the upper surfaces of leaves, making the plant look dirty or dull. To treat black sooty mold, you first need to eliminate the root cause, typically an insect infestation. With proper care, your succulent leaves will return to their healthy, vibrant appearance. Number 6. Stretching out or elongating. If you notice your succulent growing tall, stretched out, or leaning toward a light source, it's likely experiencing etiolation, a condition caused by insufficient light. Many succulents love bright light, and when they don't get enough, they begin to stretch in search of it. You'll often see the spaces between the leaves becoming wider, the stem elongating, and the rosette losing its compact shape. The plant may look leggy, pale, and less vibrant than usual. This is especially common in indoor succulents placed far from a sunny window or placed in shaded areas. To avoid etiolation, place your succulent in a brighter location with more light or supplement with a grow light if natural light isn't enough. While you can't reverse the stretch growth, you can behead the healthy top part of the succulent and replant it as a cutting. It will root and grow more compact in proper lighting. The original base may also produce new pops. Remember, light is just as important as water to keep your succulents looking their best. Number 7. Uneven brown spots. Succulents love sunlight, but too much of it, especially during the hottest part of the day, can leave burn marks. Succulents can get sunburned when they are suddenly exposed to too much direct sunlight, especially during the hottest parts of the day. You'll know your succulent is sunburned if you see white, beige, or brown patches on the leaves that weren't there before. These patches are often dry and papery in texture, and unlike natural variegation or color changes, sunburn doesn't fade or heal. It's more common when moving indoor plants outdoors too quickly or when there's a sudden heat wave. Even sun-loving succulents need time to adjust to stronger light. To avoid sunburn, always acclimate your succulents gradually when changing their light conditions. If you're moving them outdoors, start by placing them in a spot with filtered sunlight or morning sun only, then slowly increase exposure over a week or two. On extremely hot days, provide some afternoon shade or move potted succulents under a shade cloth. Damaged leaves won't recover, but the plant can continue growing healthy new ones if given the right care. Keeping an eye on sudden weather changes and knowing your succulent's light tolerance can help prevent future burns. Number 8. Thin, wrinkly leaves. Here's one that's easy to fix. When succulents develop thin, wrinkly, or shriveled leaves, it's usually a sign that the plant is dehydrated. This often happens when the plant hasn't been watered for an extended period, or if it's been exposed to hot, dry conditions for too long. When succulents run low on their water storage, the leaves lose their plumpness and start to wrinkle, much like a deflating balloon. To fix this, give your succulent a deep watering, allowing the water to soak through the soil until it drains out the bottom. Make sure the plant is in well-draining soil and that the pot has drainage holes. Avoid misting. Dehydrated succulents need a good soak. Within a few days, you should notice the leaves firming up again. Be aware that not all succulents are created equal. Some are good at holding on to their water supply and can last longer without being watered. But there are those that need to be watered more often or they will shrivel. Number 9. Leaves falling off easily. Succulents dropping their leaves? That's another red flag. This usually means overwatering. The leaves are heavy with water and can no longer hold on. When succulent leaves fall off easily at the slightest touch, it can be a sign that something is off with the plant's environment or care routine. In many cases, this is due to overwatering, which can cause the roots and stem to rot, making the leaves detached from the stem with minimal contact. Number 10. Tips of leaves pointing downward. One subtle but often overlooked sign of overwatering in rosette-forming succulents is when the leaves begin to point downward or droop. Instead of standing upright and forming a tight rosette, the outer leaves may start to curve or sag toward the base. This drooping can be mistaken for a natural growth change, but it's often a signal that the plant is taking in too much water, causing the leaf tissues to swell and bend to accommodate more water. If left unchecked, this can lead to more problems. To correct this, check the soil moisture and drainage immediately. If the soil still feels wet, move the plant to a well-ventilated area to allow the excess water to evaporate, but of course, keep the plant away from direct sunlight. Adjust your watering schedule to less frequent intervals, especially if your succulent is growing indoors or during cooler months. Catching these early signs and making small changes can help your succulent recover before serious damage occurs. Number 11. Overly bloated appearance. If your succulent has leaves that look overly bloated, swollen, or feel hard to the touch, it's a sign that the plant has been overwatered. This is an early sign that the plant had absorbed too much water. Succulents are built to store water in their leaves, but too much water causes the cells to swell, leading to bloating. If they keep on absorbing water, more changes can occur and they are not good. Overwatering is one of the most common mistakes succulent beginners make, especially if the plant is in a pot without drainage or if the soil stays wet for too long. Number 12. Cracked leaves. When succulent leaves crack open, it means the plant took in more water than it could handle and it literally burst at the seams. Cracked leaves on succulents are often a sign of the plant absorbing too much water or could be sudden changes in watering, typically after a period of dryness followed by a heavy watering. When a succulent has been dry for too long, its leaves become shriveled. If it then absorbs a large amount of water quickly, the leaf tissues can expand too fast and crack, much like how a balloon might pop if overfilled. These cracks are usually superficial and don't necessarily harm the whole plant long term, but they can leave permanent scars on the leaves and affect the plant's appearance. To prevent cracked leaves, avoid letting the plant stay bone dry for too long, then flooding it all at once. Number 13. Translucent, mushy leaves. If your succulent's leaves are turning soft, yellowish, or translucent, that's a classic sign of overwatering. These symptoms mean the cells inside the leaves have burst from taking in too much water. When you gently press them, liquid may ooze out like a soggy grape. This happens when all the early signs were ignored and the plant has been sitting in wet soil for too long, or when it's been watered too frequently without enough time to dry out. Number 14. Wilted or frost-damaged leaves. Many succulents don't do well in freezing temperatures. If your plant is exposed to frost, the leaves may appear wilted, mushy, or even completely collapsed. In some cases, it may only leave some marks and your plant may outgrow it over time. When damage happens, prune off the affected parts. Keep the plant dry and warm and hope that the base or roots are still healthy enough to bounce back. Number 15. Uneven bite marks. If your succulent suddenly looks like something's been nibbling on it, you might have a slug or snail problem. These pests are sneaky and mostly active at night or early morning. Look for shiny slime trails or check under pots and in shady spots around your garden. Use barriers or traps to keep them away. Now, on top of the 15 cues I've mentioned, it could also be a combination of problems. Sometimes succulent problems are often not caused by just one issue, but a combination of different factors, making it tricky for beginners to diagnose. For example, a plant may be overwatered and also not getting enough sunlight. Or you might have a succulent that's overwatered and then suddenly exposed to intense sun, resulting in both mushy leaves and sunburned spots. In some cases, overwatering creates the perfect environment for pests like mealybugs or fungus gnats, which can make the plant decline even faster. When more than one problem happens at the same time, it can quickly overwhelm the plant. That's why it's so important to pay close attention to the signs, from leaf texture and color to overall shape and firmness. Being able to recognize what's normal and what's not can help you catch problems early before they escalate. Finally, succulents really do talk to us. All we have to do is listen. The better you become of reading the signs on their leaves, the easier it will be to catch problems early and give your plants exactly what they need. Like any skill, this takes time, but you'll get better with practice. So step into your garden, take a look around, and observe your succulents. Do they look happy? Are any leaves trying to tell you something? Keep doing this and soon you'll be amazed at how much you can understand about your plants by just looking at their leaves. Learning this leaf language is like having a conversation with your plant every day. The more you notice, the more you understand. The more you understand, the more confident you'll become. It's not just plant care, it's a partnership. So take your time, sit with your succulents, observe, touch, notice the colors, let their silence speak, and before long, you'll find your hands, your eyes, and your instincts will all know exactly what to do, almost like magic.